What's up people? Today I'm going to show you a bartering farm that makes more than 73,000 items every hour, and it attaches to the gold farm I made in my last video, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out here. But if you're wondering, here are all the rates for all the bartered items. You can see that it just makes a completely ridiculous amount of everything, to the point where that you may want to consider alternate storage systems, as I'll talk about later on in the video. This farm will automatically sort all of the bartered items, and it will automatically compress nuggets into ingots and string into wool if you so desire. And we have unstackable sorting at the end here to catch all of the potions and the books, and to burn all the iron boots because nobody wants those. What's really nice about update 1.21 is that previously if you wanted to barter, you'd actually have to have a separate gold farm, transport all your ingots to the bartering setup, then use a complicated array of either loading shulkers full of ingots into the farm, having tons of piglins to get good rates, but thankfully we can simplify this a little bit. Because we can now automatically craft golden ingots at the gold farm, this means that we can automate the bartering process. We just have to be careful that lag isn't too much of a concern while we do so. This means that we can actually save time because all the bartering is taking place at the exact same time as the gold farming is. I'm gonna keep the explanation simple because most of you guys know how bartering works already. The system attaches by adding just a tiny bit of redstone here to the gold farm. It also adds a lever to where you can instantly switch between producing gold and producing bartering items. So you can just flick this like this to switch back into gold mode, and you'll see that the shulker box is starting to fill back up again. Or if you want bartered items, we can just flick this down and they'll all be getting dispensed onto where the piglins are. And you'll notice that this dropper isn't pointing down anymore, it's actually pointed towards all the piglins here. And on this side where we have the clock for the pushing system, we actually have a tiny bit of redstone changes. So this block has been made into either glass, or you could use a slab here, and then we're running a redstone line down, converting it into a rough 6-second clock. And then we're taking that signal from the clock and we're splitting it into pushing the items for this trap right here for the piglins. And what this will do is it'll push this honey block over the chest a little bit before this slime block here. And that way the items will be pushed out in front and then distributed onto all of this sorting system right here. And you can also see that we have a nifty little trap door here that acts as kind of like a gate for this system. And this is just so that all the items don't spill out in this slot right here onto the slime, because then that would make them unaligned and not actually over all the hoppers right here. So you can see when I turn on hitboxes, you'll see all of those items are passing directly over the edge of this hopper, meaning that they'll be picked up by every single one on their way down here. And if stuff fills up, then they'll all be burned in this soul fire at the end. This system is essentially lossless, and I spent a lot of time iterating it. If you see items that gather on top of this trap door right here, you don't have to worry about those because they won't ever last more than around 10 cycles of the clock, and they'll all be distributed into storage. So each piglin will trade 600 golden ingots an hour. So if we divide the rates of the gold farm by 600, so we'll find that 13,100 ingots divided by 600 ingots per piglin equals 21.8 piglins. And we'll go ahead and round this up to 23 just to be safe, which some of you might notice is just under the entity cramming limit as well, which is also extremely convenient because if we had just one more piglin here, then we'd have to design a system to get rid of the cramming limit. But thankfully, because we have this super simple setup, we actually don't have to do that. And in case you missed it, all of these piglins have pumpkins on their head to take them out of the mob cap, and also so that they won't despawn. And this is pretty much the cheapest and easiest way to do this. And we can capture all these piglins easily in a crimson forest by using a simple setup like this. And what this will do is it'll actually drive the piglins into this collection chamber. It will also dispense the pumpkin on their heads whenever they come in here. And it will be collecting these over the span of about 5 to 10 minutes. And it actually will be incredibly simple and easy to put together. This setup will automatically despawn any mob that drops lower than this platform unless it has a pumpkin dispensed on its head. So we keep all the piglins and we despawn everything else, and we kind of purge them through fire until we have as many as we need. And once we have all the piglins we need, we can get them out in batches of 6 with this extremely simple dispensing system where you'll use a furnace minecart and coal to get them on their way to the farm. You can see how I do this in the tutorial, but it's very simple, effective, and easy. So if we take a look at the MSPT of the farm, I find that it's extremely similar to the gold farm without the bartering module. And this is really nice that lag isn't really a concern adding this attachment to the farm. For storage, we have a few nice features here. The first of which being using alternating A/B tileable signal strength 2 filters. And if you understood that, congratulations, you are officially a nerd. But basically what this means is that we're using some unique filters that save us a little bit of materials, and because the items aren't coming super frequently, it won't cause any issues with these cheap filters specifically. This allows us to batch more items in each of these slots, so there's only one item required for each of these filters, which allows us to set them up a little bit easier and also allows them to hold a little bit more of the items that are coming through here, leading to virtually lossless rates for the amount of filters that we have for each item. And that is 2 for blackstone, 2 for gravel, 2 for spectral arrows, 2 for nuggets, and then 1 of everything else after that, with the exception of the unstackables here at the end, which we have 3 hoppers to catch what is, I believe, more than 95% of all the unstackables, if not a little bit more. But it makes so many of these anyway, there's really no realistic scenario where you're going to need more than this. If you do, you could add a few more hoppers or another filter if you really care about those. This is a really neat system from the Storage Tech Discord, and I will show the credit for that on screen. And what this does is essentially filters the books out into the new chiseled bookshelves, and then sends those to storage, and everything that doesn't go into there gets sent into this potion system where it'll filter out all the potions and water bottles, send them upwards in this dropper line here, send them into this slice of storage right here. So we'll have books in this side and then all the water bottles and potions in this side. And underneath we have the extremely simple crafting setups. Really no need to have anything more than this. I thought about compacting the iron into blocks, but there's really no reason to, because whenever you compact it into iron ingots, there's already less rates than all the other drops in this immediate area, so there's not really any need to compact it further. If you wanted to, you could install another crafting system, but it's a little bit harder to squeeze it in nicely with the UI, so I opted for this simple setup. Over here, I'm crafting the string into wool blocks just because I don't really have much use for string. You could omit this if you do want to do string and craft it later. I'm just going ahead and crafting into the wool already right now. So this type of storage is very simple and easy to build. However, it is going to be limited by the extremely beefy stream of items that is going through here. For example, for the blackstone and the gravel, the first slice of storage for each will fill up in just around an hour and a half. After that, you'll be losing drops just because storage has filled up that quickly. The farm will still run fine. It will just be burning excess items whenever you get those filters clogged up, and that'll lead to lower unstackable rates at the end, which isn't a huge deal, but is still something you may want to avoid. So what do you do whenever the farm you make exceeds normal storage capacity? So as an optional build, you can make an advanced storage system like this. This system uses simple shulker loaders to make the storage for the farm last a lot longer. And whenever we use this system, we'll get more than 68 hours of AFK before the farm will start having whole boxes clogging up storage right here. And that's mainly limited by the blackstone and the gravel here because they each make more than 13,000 items per hour, which is just ridiculous. And back here, I threw together a nifty little system that will automatically be crafting shulkers whenever the supply runs out in here. So whenever this comparator goes out, we'll get a signal into this crafter, crafting us another shulker box into the system. And you'll see we have a lot of storage for both the shells back here in order to compact how many shulker boxes you can have for the whole farm. And this many shulkers will last about 90 hours in the farm, but as I said before, the blackstone and gravel will probably be limiting that before this actually runs out. So you may want to check both of those for longer AFK sessions and make sure that you're not going to lose a bunch of items and shulkers. Also, Sam had a nice idea of adding functionality to lock certain filters if you don't want to use shulkers for those items. So that's what these levers right here are for. You can lock any of these if you so desire to not be sorting any of those. Just keep in mind that if you have an excess of items going through the unstackables, it'll actually decrease rates because it can get over the hopper speed down here, which can prevent you from getting some more books and potions if you want a lot of those. So I won't be doing a tutorial for this version just because it's a little bit more of a niche application for more advanced players, but I will have the schematic in the description if you do want to build that yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory how it works. So now that we have pretty much all the farm explained, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial and I'll show you how to build it. As always, thanks for watching my video. 1.21 has been a blast to make farms for so far, and I have a few more things coming. What if I told you that I don't care about bartering, don't care about gold, don't care about magma? I'm focused on one single thing.